The New York Times recently published a profile, for some reason, of Stephen Miller, who of course is one of Donald Trump's longtime aides in his first administration, worked on his first campaign, worked on his second campaign, worked on his third campaign, and will be coming into the White House basically as the unelected guy, not in a cabinet position, but he's going to be crafting the executive orders on immigration. Stephen Miller, who many folks love to say is a racist, and personally I don't disagree with that label that some members of the media have slapped on him. He really does seem to hate anybody that is not a naturally born white person in the United States, as far as I've seen. But either way, New York Times decided, you know what? Let's do a profile of this guy. And buried in a lot of the fluff that they had about Stephen Miller was a very interesting thing that Miller is planning to do once the administration gets rolling, honestly, a little bit later today. And it's this. Miller understands that a lot of what they're going to do is hugely unpopular. He understands that a lot of it might even be cruel. But more importantly, he understands a lot of it's really going to screw over most of this country, especially the people who voted for Trump. So how do you overcome that? How do you prevent the media, the Democrats, the everybody from critiquing the hell out of everything you do to harm us? Miller's got a very simple solution. We're going to overwhelm you with horribleness, with craziness, with stupidity, to the point where you all just get exhausted and can't talk about it anymore. Let me read you this. Among other things, the orders being drafted by Miller and his allies include attempting to end birthright citizenship, which is in the Constitution. Like, you could not do that with an executive order. Designating drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and reinstating Title 42, which allows the United States to seal the border with Mexico if there is a public health threat, so they'll just create a public health threat. Miller is also calculating that he will succeed by what the Times describes as, quote, flooding the zone. That is, by doing so many outrageous things that Trump's political opponents will simply grow exhausted and give up fighting. He believes that those he regards as Mr. Trump's enemies, Democrats, the media, groups like the American Civil Liberties Union, and portions of the federal bureaucracy, are depleted and only have so much bandwidth for outrage and opposition. Mr. Miller has told people that the goal is to overwhelm them with a blitz of activity. The worst part about all of this is that it'll work. It'll absolutely work. We've already seen Donald Trump do this, right? I mean, I come on here on a daily basis and, I'll talk about a crazy thing Trump said on Truth Social. But in talking about the one crazy thing, there's like 8 other crazy, like borderline mentally deranged things that he said that I'm not talking about. He simply has too much crazy for us to talk about in one sitting. And then by the next day, there's like 8 more crazy things. So it's like, oh God, now we got to talk about these. And the Republicans do something crazy. I got to talk about that. So it is, there is a finite amount of time. I can't just sit here in front of a camera all day reading you all the crazy things Republicans do. I also have to cook dinner at some point. Got to get the kids from school. We got to keep the house clean. I got to take the dogs out. But you get the point, right? And Miller knows this. Miller is a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them. Like, that is the one thing I will give Stephen Miller credit for. He, I believe, is evil. I personally think he is, he's got definite racist tendencies. But unlike most of the other people that Trump surrounds himself with, Miller is smart. And that's what makes him dangerous. Because we're used to Trump surrounding himself with people that are, maybe racist, but they're just dumb, right? The dumb people can't get things done. The smart ones can. And Miller knows that he can overwhelm the country, he can overwhelm the media to the point where a lot of stuff is going to fly under the radar. Horrible things that we're not going to know about until we start seeing the impacts. Then we look back and we say, oh, well, 6 months ago, there was this executive order that actually did this. And everybody's like, why are we just now finding it out? It's tough. It's very tough. As somebody who does this every day, I can tell you how tough it is. But I'm going to do my best. I know everybody else that does this is going to do their best. The corporate media, on the other hand, they'll be the ones that give up. They don't want to do it. They don't want to talk about it every day. Another horrible thing happened, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm here to tell you, we won't do that. And as crazy as redundant as it may get, we're going to try to cover it all. So that's our pledge as we head into this horrible new administration that unfortunately started today. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.